started. Hello, hello. Welcome one and the other one of you too. Yeah, I see both of you there. I'm John Zidar, aka the Stock Wizard. You're watching On Top and Hot live, where you guys are bringing me the hot penny stocks. Ain't that nice for a change? But I'm still doing the work. I'm doing the due diligence. All right, I need to sell an option. I've got a few options that really kicked my butt today because the market was not hot. When I say the market, I'm talking about the SPY, the Q. When these are falling or rising, that pretty much represents most of the market, and the market was falling hard today. And I was expecting it to go up. That's the problem with playing options. You do not project what you think is going to happen. You get in there and you watch what's going to happen if you're scalping. And that's what I like to do, scalp. And that's why we look at hot penny stocks, because we're looking at stocks that can move the next few days and put some money in our pocket. There's too many changes going on in the bloody world to be putting your money in any one stock for a long period of time and really trusting that it's going to be safe there. You know, a lot of people were worried about this government shutdown, which we are in the midst of right now. What are we in, 2 weeks to it right now? And everybody was worried. How was that going to affect the market? Well, the truth of the matter is it shouldn't affect the market hardly at all. You shouldn't notice it. And if you've been watching the market, it's been hitting all-time highs over and over and over again. Right now, you got the SPY, which is up there at 671. Most of us think it's going to hit 700 before the end of the month. I think she's running because we're expecting another rate cut. We expect the rates for interest to come down, which is an exciting thing, though you wouldn't know it. The last time they came down last month, the stock fell. But now it's been climbing. When the rates get cut, I think it's the 29th or the 30th, presuming they do. I'm thinking we have already built it all up, so it's got nowhere to go but back down again. So everybody's going to be thinking it's going to be running on the great news, and it's going to be coming down. But that's the problem with second guessing the market. None of us really have a clue. We're just guessing. So I am glad that you are here. I am glad you brought in stocks. I got a bunch of them done due diligence on them. Boy, that was tough today. It was a hard day doing everything at Penny Boys because I trade with the public over there every day. You should come on in. It's free. We're looking for hot stocks every day, not just me, but anybody in there. We're sharing our information with the community. Right? This isn't a competition. We want everybody to get into the stocks we're in. So we're sharing the charts, we're sharing the news, and it makes it fun, folks. It makes it fun when you can talk to other people who are in the same stocks you are. Misery loves company too. Not really. Thank you, everybody. We got Belmore, who was first in the queue today. Things are back to normal. I like to see that. Dino Trades coming in there. Travis, the underdog, Mark Ryan, Kashira, Lee. Folks, I'm glad you guys are regulars. Really, look, who else is here? And your stocks are the ones we're looking at. So if you weren't here, I'd be sitting here waiting for someone to show up. And we'd be talking about whatever stock they happen to bring with them, if they remembered to bring one. All right. Thank you, folks. Yeah, some of you brought in 2 tickers. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of your tickers. Jason, hello, Jason. David, good to see you, David. Well, you know what I mean. I can't see you, but I'm glad you're here. Stocks to buy under 20. I like that name. I do. And you keep asking what? We're talking marijuana. Laws changing for taxes. They're going to charge 24% now for marijuana. I think that's Michigan. I don't know if it's any other state. I think it's just Michigan. It's really cheap right now, marijuana. So bloody cheap. It's the cheapest I've ever seen it in my entire life. I don't even think I could grow it for as cheap as I can buy it right now. Unbelievable prices. And I'm loving it. And it looks like they're going to kick the prices up 24%, right? That is 25%. That's a quarter of the price. So if I'm paying 100, it's up to 125 now. But it's still a lot cheaper than I was paying when it was illegal. All right, folks, we're going to dive on into this. Hello, Kiki. Great to have you there from Germany, eh? What time is it over there? Oh, my God, it's 5 hours ahead in the UK, probably another 3 hours for you, 2 hours. So what are you, like 8 hours ahead of us? All right, we're going to jump into this. Hello, JS Export, jumping in there quick with GTVH on fire. I do believe we're going to talk about Golden Triangle. It's not the first one we're looking at, though, so if you're interested in it, you may want to play it right now while I'm talking about the other ones. Fair is fair. I do go by first come, first served. That's the only fair way to do this. I see I keep locking up over there. Why am I doing that? All right, we're going to dive on in now. Make sure I hit all my buttons. All right. Last week we had a problem. I forgot to hit one of my buttons for one of the stocks. So I've got notes here. These are good for me because I look at a lot of stocks and I can't remember everything I want to share with you. And if I forget, at least I've got a headline here to share with you and me. So at least somebody knows something. So we are looking at EPWK. This is EPWK Holdings. Seems to me this came up on our radars today when I was over there at Penny Boys. EPWK is a holdings company, which means they invest into other little companies that need help. Maybe they need technology, maybe they need money, maybe they need advisement, whatever it is. Most of these holding companies will provide whatever it is these little companies need, who have a special technology, a special product, something unique. And this company will build that up and then hopefully one day launch it onto the New York Stock Exchange or onto the NASDAQ, giving us free shares in that spin out. So that's the great thing about holdings companies is you always have the potential for free shares to be coming. This is a Chinese company that primarily supports other Chinese companies. They had massive daily volume today, really strong, real low float. Revenues are growing. I had to read this news a couple of times. You and I are going to look at it together. They are creating a high-end mall, but it's a mall unlike the kind you and I are used to. This is going to be a mall built in China targeting their type of residents. They categorize tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cities. I have no idea what that means, but this is how they are launching their products, and they're also putting it into English. How many English people do you have in China, for God's sake? Maybe they're selling it online. I don't know. And they have a bunch of filings for offerings. They've got shares that are going onto the market. So let's take a look at what's going on here. EPWK operates an online service platform in the People's Republic of China. Its platform can assist small service providers to promote their businesses to users with real service requirements. The company offers all the things a business would need and things we aren't even thinking of: bookkeeping, tax filing, intellectual property applications, registrations, certifications. Whatever the companies need, that's what they're providing for. So let's get some news on this company. We've got some news going all the way back to the end of July, when they did receive a letter of deficiency. Now, do I need to dive into this? I got anything? Yep. Their letter of deficiency was for, their price was underneath the dollar, still underneath the dollar. That's a problem. You're underneath the dollar for too long in the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, they'll kick you off. You go down to the OTC and you want to talk about a price falling, it falls with the stock falling. Well, the only way they can save that is for the price to go over $1 for 10 consecutive days. It has to close over $1, and we got to do it. We got to bid it up. If we don't do it, they either go down to the OTC or do a reverse stock split. Either way, we're normally not happy. Well, they've got 180 days, which takes them to January 19th, 2026. That's when we have to have this price over $1 for 10 consecutive days, or we are going to have a reverse stock split, or we are going down to the OTC, one or the other. Next piece of news we've got, please. EPWK aims to build a global hub for creative talent allocation. Now, they're looking for small companies that have something unique. Did I grab anything here? I didn't. This was something that was off the wall. I know they're looking for companies that have got AI and things like that going on for them, but talent allocation for helping businesses, I don't know, but you may want to dive into that. The company also launches their global platform, set sights on becoming a creative service infrastructure company. Now, if I remember correctly, bloody hell, this is what I mean. They are trying to create something here, and it comes down to this. It wasn't this one. It was, and it's just not highlighted. Where is that? Doggone it. All right, they are building this mall. Like I said, it's a very unique mall. Friggin' sake, I've got these things highlighted, and it's not coming up for me right now. All right, let's see if it's in the curated goods one. There we go. All right, they tell us here they are creating a EPWK curated goods mall. And this is going to be for different tiered people in their country. The breaking point of EPWK is to find an accurate balance between popularization and nicheization. According to the introduction, the target core users for the curated goods mall will be the urban life explorers, who are 25 to 40 years old, mainly distributed in first and second tier cities, having radiated influence on third tier cities. They are mainly white collar workers, creative workers, teachers, young managers, etc., and have good educational background and stable income of middle and above. They pay attention to the quality of life. They are willing to pay for improving happiness within their power. Now, I was reading a lot of this. It's really not clear. As I said, they're targeting their own people, and the way they're targeting them is a way I'm not familiar with. But this is something that they think is going to be a big mover. They think it's missing in their economy, and they think they can be a first mover in this and lead the pack. You may want to dive into this and see what the hell I am talking about, because I don't know what I'm talking about. In the last piece of news here, they announced the closing of an $8 million public offering, which means they just got $8 million to work with, which is great, but they just put $8 million worth of shares on the market. So we just had a little bit of dilution right there. I don't know what the price was, but we're at 10 cents, 11, 12 cents. So that's quite a few shares we just added. What was the relative volume around the company today? Good God Almighty. Gee whiz, look at that. We went from an average over the last 30 days, an average daily of 3.5 million, which is respectable on the NASDAQ. Well, today, for God's sake, she did virtually 750 million shares. Holy cow. I'm going to wonder if she has a low float, right? Let's check out that float. Well, it's not categorized as a low float, but that's a low float. We've got an outstanding share count of about 20 million. A low float starts at 10 million. I think of a low float starting at 25 million, and I'm happy with any float under 100 million. Folks, 20 million, and they did 750 million shares today. 5 times 7, 35. You're looking at 35 to 40 times every share had to sell today. Every single share. So when she starts going parabolic, don't think the shorters are being pushed into the game. No, this is a supply and demand situation. There's just not enough shares to go around. Now, they've added some more shares. I don't know if they're already added in there. As a matter of fact, let me post this there. This says July 2024. So this could be way the hell off. I could be so far off right now, it just doesn't even matter what I'm saying. So as of a year ago, we had 20 million shares. Why didn't they update that? I'm sorry I overlooked that. So you're going to have to dive into something else. Maybe, let me see here. EPWK. I am kind of curious about that. And normally you can jump on over here to Stock Titan, which is my go-to site as my backup. Over on the right-hand side, they give some company information. And let's see what we got here. Shares outstanding, 22 million. All right, so we're close. We're close. We're not too far off. 22 million is what we're looking at right now. Market cap, we're at 1.5 million. Micro cap. Looking at the financials, big important part of the pie. Well, look at that. They have been growing every single year for the last 4 years, coming from 11.3 million. We got to add 3 zeros to any of these numbers up to 20 million. And they are making profit. Though the profit is up and down, they are in the black, looking good. Quarterlies, we're not getting any quarterly reports. You normally don't with China. And when you're looking at the filings, they're going to be 20Fs. That's their financials when you're a foreign company, 20F, not a 10K or a 10Q. Looking at the balance sheet and remembering those 3 zeros, cash and cash equivalents in the bank, about $227,000. Total assets, $4.5 million. Total liabilities, egads, about 11, 12 million. So we're holding a lot of deficit for the company, $7.2 million. In other words, you're kind of holding a bag here. And disclosures. All these disclosures were about the filings, the 6K, the 424, the effect. The effect is just a one-line thing. Boom, that's it. It is the gun shooting. When you see effect, you know that shares have just been put on the market. That's exactly what that means. And that's what these are about. So that's everything that is going on right now. So you've got a company here in China that has just had a public offering, so they've got money in their pocket. They are working on this mall. I don't have a lot of information about it. I didn't get to do a deep dive. I don't know if it's going to also be online or if it's strictly a physical building, but it's supposed to be English speaking and Chinese speaking. And it is to bring a particular type of product to a particular type of consumer, which is above my head. But they seem to think it's a big deal. And over in China, a little success is a big success over here in America because they're so huge over there. All right, let's take a look at EPWK on my charts. Ooh, I wonder what my charts look like. Right, I was watching the queue. Oh, did I ever sell that? No, I didn't. And too late. Doesn't matter. You get till 15 minutes after 4 o'clock to sell your options on the Q and the SPY and a few others. But if they're in the money, if they're way up here, they will automatically sell them for you, especially if you don't have enough money in your account to cover the exercising. And I had one exercise by accident one day. I forgot to sell it, and I woke up with $50,000 in my account. No, I'm not kidding. And I freaked out. I knew it wasn't my money. So I called up the Schwab, and they explained it to me. And they said the only way you can fix it is to buy $50,000 worth of SPY. I said, really? You want me to go spend it? He says, yep, you got to go buy the stock. You're not going to get anything for it, but you got to spend it. Whew, I did, and I'm out of that. So that's what happens. All right, so let's take a look here. We got EPWK. Let's roll this back just for a quick glance at the yearly chart. Get a 52-week high. Oh, that makes a difference, huh? So we were running flat here. Is this, God, I'd almost think that was a SPAC, the way it was running flat. She's here at $5, not $10, and she took off to $26, 500% solid rip. Came all the way back down. I mean, right back down to where she freaking started. Took a long time before she came back up, and when she started to climb, she fell again really hard, going from, let's call that $9 down to, oh, darn, 20 cents. $9 down to 20 cents. And she's been down there for months. And right now, there's my new Fibonacci. Right now, she is trying to make a move. Let's see if we can get in there. Oh, that's it right there. So right now, she is just bouncing off of a low, which is our 52-week low, down at 6 cents. And right now, we're about double that, almost 12 cents. Take a look at our 6-month, 4-hour. Looks like the same. I'm going to bypass that and jump on over into the hour. So we were at 68 cents here 20 days ago, above the 200. Not looking too bad. Now, I do see that our MAs were falling here, and I expected it to dip under the 200, but I expected it to come right back up. You know, biorhythm, like the ocean, just roll, ebb and flow. But no, it just kept falling, falling, falling. And then the bad news came out. What day was this? The 7th. What news came out the 7th? Whatever it was, folks, I don't recall the date, but boy, it fell again from 36 cents down to that 6 cents. So you're talking 600% drop, basically, right? 36 down to 6. She's bounced off of that, and right now she has a chance of trying to climb if the investors want her to. All of our MAs have finally caught up, right? Once she fell, she couldn't do anything. She can't climb until she has a line to jump up on top of. That's how she climbs. She needs rungs on the ladder. Well, here's the 9. She didn't climb. No, she fell even further. She came back up to the 20. She isn't exactly getting excited about being on the 20. Now she's finally showing some interest with our 50 and our 200 haul coming close, but she isn't doing anything yet. Now everything is still falling. I'll grant you that. but she is hanging on. She is going sideways, which means she's not falling, which is the first thing you got to do is stop falling. But she's been going sideways for a while. So if she's going to jump, we should get some sort of jump here. Now, I'm not thinking she's going to climb all the way up here. I think we're going to have to wait for that 200 to get closer, and that could take a while. Our oscillators are a bit cool. Everything is warming up, but there's nothing hot yet. Taking a look at our 5-day, 5-minute, just a close-up of what we see there. Big drop, sideways activity. Look, see, this is what scares me. Right here, she fell. The 200 finally got close, and what did she do? She pushed away from it. She seems to be pushing away. She got close to the 9. She pushed away from the 9. She got close to the 200. She pushed away from the 200. This is not exciting me. Now, all I can say is she's bounced off that low bubble, and she hasn't returned to it. She's climbing now. She's finally getting on top of supports. She's finally bouncing off of the 200. Here is our breakout. No big deal. Just walked through it, walked right through it. No excitement. Came down. This is our first bounce. I expect a bounce on the 200 when you initially break through it. There's our first bounce. I would be expecting it to continue climbing. Now that our 200 is rolled around. Serious fall, leveling out, gone flat, right where she broke out. She's flat, and now she's climbing. Here's our bounce. Our oscillators look like they're in recovery. Everything is trying to come back up right now. Everything is just hitting the floor. Just like the price, it's bouncing. And that's what we're looking for right now is the recovery bounce. But I wouldn't get in until you see it. Don't try to second guess a bounce, folks. Wait till you have multiple green bars showing the direction. Make sure you have a crossover on your MACD. You don't want the MACD pushing down. No, no, no. You want a crossover. You want it to cross, get that blue line back up on top. As soon as that blue line crosses, that's when you should be looking at getting into the stock. That's when it's going to get power. Not guaranteed, but that's when the power normally comes into the picture. So EPWK, she's warming up. She's had a lot of fall, and she keeps running away every chance she gets to climb. So let's see what she does this time. All right. Boy, it's getting warm in here. Here we go again. Protagonist, FCEL. Is that a hydrogen company? Can't remember. Plug. Yeah, share these. CPUS. Get those tickers out there. Folks, you do know I'll never get to these. Not at the rate I'm going here. But I am glad to see you guys bringing in tickers, and I hope you're sharing hot penny stocks, right? Don't be bringing in those stocks that got no light and you say, I think. We got those all day long. We want stocks we know. At least we have strong possible thoughts that it's going to run. DVLT, you're bloody tootin' DVLT. I made my money on it earlier this week, got back in because I think she's going to run again. I even actually paid more the second time around. Didn't get as much as I did the first time, but I'm planning on it. All right, folks, let's jump on into that second ticker. Let's get rid of this box. Yeah, I'm doing it right. Yeah, I am. Second ticker we're going to take a look at is CXAI. This comes from Dino Trades. You guys can see my box. This is CX App Inc. They are for interior mapping. Think of Google Maps for outside. Well, this is for inside. Obviously, each company or whoever is going to hire them to do that for them. And you're going to be able to use it when you're on their property. It could be a huge mall. It could be an amusement park, right? How often you get lost at an amusement park? How often you get lost at a mall? Or even a big office building, for God's sake. This is a way to be able to find anything, not just an office, but the drinking fountain, the toilet, whatever they may want you to find, you're going to be able to find it. Using virtual reality and all these new sciences that they've got, all on your phone, right? So they did a merger with Inpixion. You probably recognize that name. Inpixion was hot for a while there. They did a merger with Kins Technology, aka CX App. Their daily volume is up today. They've got a low float. Revenues are steady, but they've got a problem with the minimum bid price. They're not keeping up with it, folks. What was that ticker? CXAI. CXAI, sex app. Sex app? Is that what that is? Sex app? It just hit me. No, I haven't seen anything about sex anywhere, but boy, perfect name, right? It's under the radar, could get in there without anybody thinking that it's something else. Ooh, kind of sneaky. All right, so sex app right now is at 94 cents. This is a company out of the US, based out of California. You can see we're still using the old website here in Pixian. Let's take a look at that. You never know what you might see there. Trusted by a lot of Fortune 500 companies. I guess they've used their services. CXAI app. Joe uses a CXAI app to effortlessly manage his hybrid work, staying connected, productive, and engaged, both in office and remotely. All right. So they're also working with companies. Let's see. CX App Holdings, through its subsidiaries, provides a workplace experience platform for enterprise customers. It offers Sex App, a software as a service platform with native mapping, analytics, on-device positioning, and applications technologies for use in various applications such as workplace experience, employee engagement, desk and meeting room reservations. So you've got a company now in the US that is helping companies grow. They're helping companies to take care of the problems, whatever it may be, with bookkeeping or people finding your office, the bathroom, whatever it is. They're helping the companies here in the US. So let's see what we've got over here in the news. Not a lot of news. Okay. CXAI named a representative vendor in Gartner's 2025 market guide for workplace experience applications. So somebody's recognized them. They've got their name in a book, which means they're going to get business from whatever that's about. Haven't had the time to do the due diligence. CXAI showcasing agentic AI-based employee experience platform at industry events. That's the second time I've heard about agentic AI. There's all different types of AI. Agentic AI is the AI that is going to be able to make decisions on its own. It runs into a problem. It doesn't have to stop and wait for you to tell it what to do. It's going to be able to think its way through it. And that's been the problem with AI. If it doesn't know something, it doesn't know it. And it can't just go and learn it because it doesn't know where to go. It doesn't have access to just go wherever it wants. But this is going to be a different type of AI that can find a solution for a problem in the midst of its day without having to ask a human for help. CXAI to host a future of work employee experience, AI, and hybrid revolution during the San Francisco Tech Week. So they're getting around. They are spreading the word about what they do. They're all over these conferences. Now, it seems to me the news was really in this 8K. Effect, that means they just put more shares on the market, right? That's what that means. This here, those are the shares. Let's see what they put on the market. Resale of up to 10 million shares. We don't have to worry about resale. These are normally another insider who wants his shares sold. Now, why he doesn't just go to the open market and sell his bloody shares, I don't know. He gives them to the company and the company sells them. But it doesn't affect the OS. It doesn't affect the float, so we don't have to worry about that. 10 million warrants, 24 million shares of common stock underlying the warrants. Now, that's going to add, all right, because there's twice as many warrants. Right, when these warrants get cashed in, there'll be 24 million shares that go in to the float. Now, I don't know when they're going to cash in the warrants. Warrants are down the road normally, but it could be closer than you think. It could be a couple months. Normally, it's a few years. See right there, by selling security holders. So these aren't new shares they're creating. This 8K is the one I wanted to share with you, though. This is the one that tells us, doggone it, they got a notice from the NASDAQ. They are in trouble. They're under the $1. They've got to get that up, and they have to do that by, this was highlighted right there, March 10th, 2026. So again, we've got a long time, but the only way the price is going to get up is if we bid it up. And the only way we're going to bid it up is if the company has good news. They've got to make mergers. They got to make acquisitions. They've got to start making strong revenues, something like that. So we've got quite a while here. That's something like 8 months that they're in hot water. but we are way, way down here right now. Anything else I need to see here? If the company is unable to regain compliance with the NASDAQ minimum price, they may be eligible for an additional 180-day compliance period. Matter of fact, I've actually heard of talk from the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. When these companies fall under $1, rather than give them 6 months to get back, they're just going to give them a year. Because most of the time they come to the board and say, look, if you just give us a little more time, we think we can do it. And then you only get the next 6 months. So they think they're going to just get rid of that 6-month period and just give them a full year. But we're not there yet. So that's everything we got going here, folks. The company's in hot water. They need to get this price up. They're almost there, right? We're at 93 cents. But keep in mind, you have to break $1 and stay over $1 10 days in a row. So we can go under $1 during those 10 days, but by the end of the day, we have to be over $1. So it shows up on the books, on the records as closed over $1 for 10 days straight. Then they're out of hot water. Then they can go back under $1, go to 50 cents, and they'll just start the whole process all over again. So that's what we got going right now, folks. Now, what was the catalyst? I think we're kind of lacking catalyst here, except that they're getting the news out there about what it is they do, helping companies. And the more people that hear about it, the more people are going to use it. Talking to investors doesn't seem to be their thing. Talking to these businesses. That's what most of this news here is all about. Okie doke. Let's see. I do believe we already checked out the website, didn't we? Yeah, Impixian website. We did. I always like to check out the website because it sometimes tells me stuff I'm not aware of. I'm allowed to say shit. Yes, I am. I'm allowed to say it. Probably shock somebody there, but I do say it occasionally. Oh, I say it a lot. When I'm having a bad day like today, I say worse than that. I say everything under the sun. All right, we are looking at CXAI. Let's go back a year. Let's get our 52-week high and low. Pink. Boy, I'm having a hard time here. I've been pressing buttons all day. So do we have any reverse stock splits here? No, that all looks normal. So we've got a high of $2.53 in January of this year, which was virtually the last time we were over the 200-day MA. We've been falling ever since from 253 down to a 52-week low of 61 cents, which we hit in September on the 10th. From that, we jumped quick. That's the first thing I noticed. The very next bar off of that low bubble is a green one, and she's climbing from that point. To me, this is a good sign. In most cases, it means that she has undervalued at this point in time. There are people out there that shop low bubbles, and they go look at the fundamentals. And if a 52-week low or an all-time low shows up and they see the company has value, they will jump on that stock and it will bounce immediately. And more than bounce, it'll climb. It'll climb for a little while and you can get yourself a nice run out of it. And that's what we actually got going on here, isn't it? She jumped off of that low. She's pushed herself on top of the 9, on top of the other MAs. Right here, she took off before our 200 haul is even turned up. Now she's over top of the 50. Here's our 200 haul, just about flat, just about. And there's our falling 200. That's a 200 squeeze, folks. And it's looking really strong right now. All this has to do is turn up, and it's probably going to do it tomorrow morning. And I'll bet you donuts to eggs, this thing goes from right where it's at to and through the 200. So right now we're at 95 cents. I say it's going to go over $1.10, probably hit $1.25, somewhere about there, and then come back down. It'll be tired. It ran hard, had to break through a solid wall, kept running. Need some Gatorade, right? Comes back down to the 200 or the next MA underneath it. And if it's still strong, if volume is still there like it's showing right now, it'll just bounce and take off. That's normal. That's what we're going to look for. This 200 haul to turn up, a run to and through the 200, pull back, and a bounce. This chart is looking really nice for that right now. All of our oscillators are looking perfect. Everything is curved up and climbing right now. You couldn't ask for a better launch chart. Looking at our 6-month, 4-hour view, $2.03 down to 61. She's been in a downtrend. Looking at her right now, our 200 is just now going flat. She started her breakout before she was flat, which is, that's bold. That's brave, folks. That's ballsy. She kept climbing, waiting for that 200 to go flat. All of our MAs are already over the 200. Once this 200 goes flat, I expect this thing to get more power, just like our 200 haul going flat. All these 200s flattening out, it pushes all the positive energy up so that you don't have any worries of down. So right now, things are looking very strong to me. Look at our volume. Up, 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 up. Every day it's getting higher. All of our oscillators are strong. We've had a pullback here. Okay. Wow, look at that jump. She jumped here from roughly 45 cents. Wow. Wow. Up to $1.05. That is 150% jump from that support, from the bottom of that solid bar, not even down here, the solid bar up to there. That was 150% jump. She came back down and now she's landing on her 9-day MA. Don't worry about that wick coming under. The wick underneath the bar, the line is no big deal. You don't want your full bar underneath the line. Half a bar on the line is okay. I mean, it's iffy, you're getting a warning now. But if your full bar is above your line, don't let the wicks worry you. The wicks are giving you indications of what's going to happen next. You get a big wick that goes down through a lot of MAs, think of it as a foundation. They're about ready to build a skyscraper. You keep your bar above that line and the wick goes down underneath a whole bunch of other ones, watch it climb really fast. So right now we've got wicks coming down, which are putting in small foundations, and the bars, the buildings are staying above ground. So right now it looks like it's just kind of waiting for support, waiting for these MAs to come up, waiting for that 200 to go flat. Boom. And she's going to start to push. Coming down to our 1 hour, 20-day. Well, we've got our supports and resistances here. She's climbing. She's getting up. She's now pushed away from her 200, pushed away from the 50, which is what she was bouncing on. Now she's up on her 200 haul. This is looking nice. We just hit our high here of $1.03. She's pulled back to the 200 haul. That is a solid landing. Lots of volume. Yeah, a bunch of it is red. But you know what? Volume is there. We have lots of green, lots of red. Lots of green, lots of red. That's okay. We want that price action. We want big bounces. Surfers don't go on the ocean when it's flat. They go on it when there's big, huge waves. And they got to ride those waves, just passing them until the right wave comes and they get in front of it. They get in front of the wave, start paddling, and let the wave catch them. And that's what we're doing. This right now, I would be getting in. I'm going to grab my line. I would be getting in right here or right here, depending where it comes up to. Just over top of these supports. I get ahead of the wave. This has to break through that support to get to my price. That's the wave. That's the curling up and the power. If it gets over that wall and gets to me, chances are it's going to carry me now to the beach. But do you ever see a surfer make it to the beach? No, they dive off. They leave it. They don't go the whole distance. That's all we're doing here. Dive out. Don't worry about how far the wave is going to go. Ride your wave, have your fun, get off before it slams you into the beach. That's the whole process here. Get in just over a support, get out just under a support before it hits the beach. So this is looking like it's ready to climb, folks. Everything is strong on these charts. 5-minute chart, our 200 MA has been climbing the entire time here. Every single day it's pushing up. She's rolling gently. We don't have a lot of volatility. Woo, that was scary. Almost a head and shoulders here. Head and shoulders is a very, very bearish pattern. You can count on it like 80% of the time to do what it's intended to do. And that's push the price down hard. And normally it's the depth of it. So this little push, it could have been twice, 3 times that big. It's fought it and it's coming back. That's a good sign to me. It did not take the full brunt. It didn't go all the way down and come back up. It's churning up right now. Now, the only thing I don't like is that our 200, well, actually, I thought it was falling. It's not. Our 200 MA is perfectly flat right now. All of our other MAs are falling, but they're all very tight. They're all real close to each other right now. Everything is kind of just going sideways with the major portion of the charts going up, So I expect everything to start turning up. This deserves to be on your watch list, folks. Not a lot going on with it. We don't have a lot of catalysts. She's in hot water. The biggest thing we can say, she's looking to break that $10 mark, but she's got to break it 10 days in a row. We broke it, but we didn't state not the $10, the dollar mark, not $10, the dollar mark. She broke it, but not after hours. We closed here at 92, so we don't even have our first day under our belt. But she's tagging it now, and a lot of times when they do break that dollar, they just keep going to $2 and $3. We're seeing that a lot. So this deserves to be on your watch list. At least it doesn't cost you anything to put a ticker on your watch list. CXAI. Whew. I better not talk so loud. I'm already losing my voice. 440. Great analogy. I'm not quite sure which one. The beach, the surfers. I try to make everything about the chart as physical as I can. I see the 200 as the ocean's water line. Anything under it is underwater, doesn't move fast. Anything above it moves real fast. It's in the air. I see the 20 as the steering wheel for the price. Where the 20 starts to turn, the price follows. That's what I'm always looking for on the big charts. When it starts to turn, the big falls or the big runs start to come. And I look for all of these things. I think of waterfalls, currents, wind. All those MAs are currents, right? You throw your Dixie cup on the current, where does it go? Wherever the current's going. Well, every single MA is a different current. A 9 is just a 9, little, but a 200 is an Amazon. But when you bring all of them together, I'm froze. You bring all of them together, you got one strong current. And that's how you read the charts. All the lines in harmony, synchronizing with each other. When you see them all coming together, that's a strong chart. All right, I'm going to dive back in over here. We've got another ticker to jump to. Let me hit my button so you can see what I see. So we are now taking a look at AIBT. This came from Travis. This is AIBotics Inc. Let me see. AIBT. I can get that over here. Now, I just entered into AIBT last week, I think it was, and I've been averaging down on them. They popped up on my radar, and I did some due diligence on them, and I liked what I was reading, and I made a presumption, and I'll share the presumption with you. I'm not saying it's news. It's just a presumption. AIBotics is a U.S. holdings company in AI robotics in the hospitality sector. They have no revenues as of yet. Stockholder deficit. We don't have any equity. Lots of partnerships and expansion going on right now, which is what's exciting. And their filings, we've got a 10K, which shows very little change. So we really don't need to look at any of the filings. We don't even need to look at the financial itself because there's been very little change to no revenues. I do believe the assets went up just a little bit. So AIBT is a pioneering holding company specializing in artificial intelligence and robotics, focusing on investing on the hospitality sector. Now, right now, they have got what they call Phil. Phil is their first product. They are a holdings company, so they didn't invent this. They went and found a company that had this product, and they're looking at other companies too. They're going to take care of these companies, build them up. Well, Phil is a masseuse. It's a massager. It goes right next to your bed, and it gives you a massage that you control with your phone. They also have another product called the Milky Way. The Milky Way is a refrigerator for breast milk, just breast milk. And it's pretty bloody big. And you don't fill the whole thing with breast milk. But the breast milk that goes in there is dated and has to be used and, cycled through the right way. And they've got smart refrigerator here that gives you the right milk, as if the labels wouldn't be enough, right? So those are the products that they've got right now, but they're looking to expand on what Phil can do. It's a one-armed robot, right? And we've got a lot of one-armed, two-armed robots out there working in restaurants, hospitality sectors, mixing drinks, stuff like that, making pizzas, all sorts of crazy stuff. So let's see what information we can share about this by looking at the news. Okay. All of this news here is old, 2021, 2022. Right here is the first piece of 2025, and that's what we get. 3 pieces of news. AIBotics issued mid-year shareholder update, highlighting corporate progress, technology development, and strategic roadmap for agentic AI integration. Here we go again. Agentic AI. We're talking about robots that can make decisions on the fly. Don't need to check what to do. AI Botics is in negotiations for a pilot program with a China-based global leader in commercial service robots designed to interact with people and collaborate with other robots. The commercial development and distribution of Phil, which is their flagship massage robot. This is their, I don't want to call it their experiment, but it's their first one, and they're refining it. It's kind of like a car company coming out with a car. First time ever out there. Don't buy it. Wait till the next year's comes out because the first year has bugs, and they'll fix all those bugs in the second year. Well, that's what they're doing right now. They've got the first version out there, and they're fixing a lot of bugs that are popping up. But they've got a lot of different ideas that they can also incorporate with this, and that's what they're trying to build into this. At the heart of our long-term strategy is the agentic AI, a new generation of artificial intelligence capable of making independent decisions, managing complex tasks, and achieving defined outcomes without direct human intervention. To accelerate our entry into this space, we recently signed an agreement with strategic partner UI Converge, a Singapore-based human-machine interface innovator. Together, we will co-develop a cutting-edge autonomous operating platform to power our next generation of robots and AI assistants. We were targeting our Q2 2025 launch of our new intelligent assistant platform built to complement Phil and extend into our broader applications. And they've pushed that now to Q4. So right now, they want to do it as fast as they can, and they're going to keep announcing that they're doing it as fast as they can, even if they lag behind. You don't want to tell your investors you're lagging behind. We're doing the best we can. We're almost there. Almost. Jumping back to the news, please. AI Botics launches first pilot program with one of Miami's elite fitness centers to introduce Phil Robot in the high-end recovery lounges. These are exercise places you go. When you're all done working out, you want a masseuse. Well, we don't need people. You're not going to get any freebies in there. We're just going to have a robot take care of you. And the robot don't do any of that silly stuff. It's just going to rub your muscles. And they're actually implementing that. And if it takes off in one gym, it could take off in lots of them, right? That's a whole stream. But as I said, this is just only one avenue. A robot arm can do anything you can teach it to do, right? Last piece of news, and this is why I got into it. Keenan Robotics, creator of X-Man and one of the world's global leaders and largest robotic manufacturers, signs a partnership agreement with Abiotics. Abiotics is in discussions with Keenan Robotics as a potential manufacturing partner for its Phil robot, the first AI-powered massage robot in the massage robotics market, projected to exceed $1 billion by 2030. I didn't know it was a thing. And signals intent to collaborate on humanoid X-Man robots within a global humanoid robotics sector forecast to surpass $38 billion by 2035. This partnership with Keenan Robotics marks a pivotal step in AI Botics international expansion strategy. By partnering with Keenan, we are delivering world-class robotics to markets eager for automation across hospitality, healthcare, and retail. We are also advancing discussions with security robots companies, a sector projected to surpass $71 billion globally by 2032, where autonomous patrol and monitoring robots have already been deployed in airports, malls, and industrial facilities worldwide. We know of those companies. You got KCPL, or I can't remember that. AITX is one. They're working with security robots, and there's another one, Night Robotics or something like that. They're also going to get into the business. This combination of service and security robotics positions Abiotics to capture significant growth across multiple high-demand sectors. Now, if I remember correctly, yes, I do believe this is a foreign company, and they're working in multiple countries, 60 different countries and 600 different cities. They have been doing a lot of crowdfunding. They've been trying to get onto the market. Well, here's a company already on the market. right? Here's a company that's already in robotics. They're making a deal with, they're already on the market. Now, they're not going to want to be on the OTC. I'll grant you that. This company over there in Japan or China, I can't remember which it is, they're probably going to want to be on the NASDAQ. Well, they could lift this company up. They could take this company there. And I just thought in the back of my mind, there could be conversation because I dove into Keenan and I've seen how hard they've been working on crowdfunding. So they may push this direction. Based on that, I started to buy into it. But based on the fact that they've got one-arm robot and they are going to humanoid robots along with all other sorts, there's a lot of room for growth. And this is a basement floor opportunity, right? There's a lot of companies out there that are so far gone. So it is a speculative play, but there are things happening. That's why I like it. So let's take a look now at the relative volume for AIBT. She's up a little bit, jumping from 12 million shares a day as an average for the last 30 days, up to a little over 14 million today. Share structure for AIBT is up there, but not as high as it could be, for God's sake. We got 318 million outstanding shares. We've got 107 million that the insiders own. So we've actually only got 211 million, which is a high number. But look how many shares they've got. 7.5 billion. They could put those on the market. They could flood the market, shareholder dilution like crazy, and they'd make buku bucks, but they're not. This isn't just for putting on the market. You can make deals with them, right? You can buy companies. You can do all sorts of things with shares. You can pay your employees. You can use them as enticements to bring on bigger executives. You can do all sorts of things with your shares, not just put them on the market. Market cap right now, we're at just about 1 million. Financials. Well, they're not making any money yet. It ain't coming. Something started spitting here, but it's just not going yet. We've actually got a 0 up there, which means they're trying. At least they're out of bed. Balance sheet. Remembering those 3 zeros, we got $242,000 in the bank, 1.1 million in assets. Yikes, 5.3 in liabilities. So we are holding $4.2 million in deficit for this company. It looks like a startup company, right? Startup companies have very little assets, very little going for them, have a lot of debt, and a lot of speculative hope. And that's why people jump into them. And that's why I'm in it. And I got to be honest, folks, I ought to beat myself up. This is on the OTC ID. She finished the day at 0033 and she's down about 3%. Now, she didn't move very far today. She moved 0001. That's as much as she fell, just right there. You know, she went from 4 down to 3. It is these that I've lost most of my money on. That used to be called the pink. They now call it the OTC ID because they get this much more information from these companies. The pinks gave no information. We had nothing from them except news presses. We don't get much more information from the IDs, so they're just as risky as the pinks as far as I'm concerned. We have no validated information outside of these 2 green ticks, company verified profile and a transfer agent verified, which are important. And they're done by the OTCmarkets.com website, so I can trust that. Everything else all comes from the management. So whatever company you're putting your money into, if they don't have any filings, if they don't have any financials, if they don't have any validated information, you need to be doing your research and due diligence on the management. That's the one thing you can verify and prove. Validated information all the way. Are they good guys or bad guys? Because management can make or break any company. Doesn't matter how great their products are. So study the management first. If you have faith in them, then put faith in the hype, the news presses, which is what we're investing in, really, right? Let's see. Going on over to the disclosures for AIBT. We've got a financial there, which was late. They had 5 days to get that quarterly report out. That's what the NT10Q means, not filing our quarterly report on time. That'll buy them 5 extra days. They had to have it by the 19th. Woo! They got it right on time. Now, I'll say this just because it might be worth mentioning. I haven't looked at the chart. A lot of times, they will put out an NT10Q or 10K to get the market to jump. The stock will actually jump on a late notice. These filings are coming out in 5 days or 10 days. You're going to have your financials, but they decide to run now. Well, what happens when the financials come out? Well, normally, whatever, the stock falls because it already ran. It ran on the NT 10K. So if you see a stock running on an NT 10K or 10Q, and then the financials come out, even if they're good financials, in a lot of cases, the stock falls because they've already pushed it up. All right, let's go take a look at ticker AIBT. Let's see what my new investment looks like. Did I really get into another bank? Are you kidding me? What's the matter with you? 1 year chart. Okay, looks like the 4-hour chart was as far back as we needed to go. So I'm going to presume they did a merger here. I haven't done a deep dive that I'm aware of. Something's changed or they just came on the market because that's all the chart. That's all we've got here. This ticker could be a company just changed their ticker. I don't know. Started on the 3rd of February this year. She came on at about 3 cents and ran up to 7 cents. So she had over 100% that day. Then she fell way below where she started. We're down here at a penny and a half. She was down there for a week. And from there, she took off and went. Actually, she's at a penny 4. I called her penny and a half. I rounded it up. She went from 1.4 up to 14. That's 1,000% run right there, folks. Wow. And then steadily, she came down with a lot of bumps and jumps, right? We got a lot of jumps going in there. Those are all money makers for you as she is falling. Once she got down to this new support, she keeps finding new ones, going lower and lower. She went sideways for a while, took another dip, found a new low, hit this low of 0016. And from there, she is starting to climb. I know she's starting to climb because my 200 haul is climbing. It was falling here. Now it's climbing. Look, right there. We had basically a 200 squeeze that didn't have enough power to get to the 200, but it had enough power to jump. 200 MA falling, 200 haul climbing above the 50. What happened? Just shot up. Just shot up. Couldn't avoid it. This extra boost of power kicked it from about 003 up to wow, 009. Woohoo! 300% run right there and didn't even get to the 200. Oh, I like that. Came back down to that new support here. And right now she's just going sideways with a few bumps and jumps as our 200 is getting closer. Now, right now we've got a perfect 200 squeeze setting up. Our 200 is going level. It's right over our head. Our 200 haul is coming up. We're in the middle right here, but we're not yet on the 50. We're underneath the 50. You need to be on top or above the 50 to get that burst of power. Once this pushes up, and I don't know that it's going to, but once this pushes up, we should see a burst, and it could easily run to and through the 200. So it could go from the 50 at 004 to the 200 at 0087, which is over 100% run. Now, again, whenever you have a long run breaking through a strong resistance, and that's what that is, expect it to come back down. So take your gains on a green bar. If you're selling on red bars, you're waiting too long. You're getting greedy. You're waiting for more. That's why you're selling on red bars. You are waiting for more. Sell on green bars. You don't have to sell everything, but sell something as it's rising. Because when it goes to red and starts falling and you're trying to sell, it's falling as you're selling and you're having to chase the price while it's falling. Bad enough to chase the price when it's rising. Worse to chase it when it's falling. Coming on down to our 1 hour view. We got a low here of 0023 with a big jump up on top of the 200, which is where she wanted to stay. Lots of bouncing on top of that 200 as it's rising. We got a high here of 0067 back down to the 200. And now everything is starting to roll over. Everything except our 200, which is just now starting to go flat, which is a little weird. Normally, it's your lower numbered ones, your 9, your 20, your 50. These normally start curving first before the 200, but the 200 is actually going flat while everything else is trying to catch up. We got our first green bar there with a big wick pushing up, and our bar is underneath the 9, but I'm getting a feeling she is trying to climb. Ooh, I'm a poet and don't know it. And my feet are long, fellas. That's corny as hell. Our oscillators, not very strong. Everything is wiggling its way downhill. Everything. So I don't see a lot of hope on the hourly chart. Let's take a look at our 5-minute chart. Pretty weak. Everything is dipping down right now. I do see a little bit of curve on our 200, but there's not a lot of volume. And that's what you need. You need volume. You need things to be, people to be there. That's where volume comes from, people trading. And you know, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but if you come over here, folks, and this is worthy of me breaking away from what I'm doing, I just went to current market, okay? Current, all of them. If you come down here to more, go into the page itself, look over here on the far right. There's your symbol, your price, percentage change, share volume. That's important, but look at that. Trades. You don't get this information anywhere else. I dare you to find it. Find it and tell me where else you've gotten it. I would like to find this information for NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange stocks. This is only for the OTC, but this tells me how many trades the company stock did today. At the moment I'm checking, because this is live through the day. Well, look, this stock did 213 trades. Most of these are doing 1, 2. I mean, this is what most stocks are doing. Very little. So you can actually come over here any time of day and find stocks that are doing hundreds of trades. Look at how low this is. There's one, 519 trades, ENTEF, went up 72% today. There's the volume. The more trades you have, the more people you have, right? Right here. There can't be more than one person there. One of 4 might be 4 people. It could be one person who bought 4 times. Well, I guarantee you, that right there is not one person buying 519 times, right? That's a crowd. Even if everybody bought twice, that's still over 250 people. So I like to come over here looking for OTC stocks, and I look for the stocks that have the most trades for gainers. I don't care about losers. I'm looking for the gainers. And normally the gainers are taking big gains. So this is a great way to follow stocks that are hot without just trusting the volume, because the volume can be misleading. Somebody could have bought 10 million shares and been one trade. And you think, oh, look at all this volume coming in. Nope, one trade. And you're sitting there waiting for more people. And there's nobody coming. You and him. You're the only ones, and he doesn't want any more. All righty. There you go, folks. That is AIBT. What time is it? 5:02. Yeah, brother. We're doing good. How we doing over here? Stars and night vision. Waves. Yeah. Yeah, the waves. GTV, Penny, you're here again. I don't know why you're late, but I'm glad you're here. Doesn't matter. These are recorded, right? That's what I keep telling everybody who says, I'm not going to be able to make it today. It's like, don't worry about it. It's going to be recorded. I'm going to timestamp it. I'm going to put it back out there later in the evening so you can find what it is I was talking about and where they're at in case you're only interested in 1 or 2 of these stocks. Anything else going on over here? I'm here. Love to hear you talk. Well, thank you very much. I've got this really deep voice I like to use occasionally. All right, let me get rid of the Penny Stalkers channels button there. Let's dive into another one here while we've still got time and I've still got a voice. Oh, you can't see that. Almost did it. Almost. Yes, you can see me. Let's get over to that. We are going to look now at, yes, APM. This comes from the Underdog. This is Aptorum Group. This is a UK biopharma for infectious diseases and cancer. Very light daily volume, very low float, no revenues. However, we do have positive stockholder equity. They're finalizing a merger. I think it just finalized. And all the filings that they've got are about that merger. So I'm really not going to dive into them. If you want to, you can. All right, let's take a look at this company. Without the dollar sign. Aptorium. Aptorium Limited is from the United Kingdom, from London, England, if that makes a difference to you. Aptorium Group is a biopharmaceutical company engaged in the discovery, development, and commercialization of therapeutic products for the treatment of infectious diseases and cancer. Let's see here. Its pipeline products include SACT1 for neuroblastoma and other cancer types, SACT COVID-19 for the treatment of COVID-19, ALS4 to treat bacterial infections, as well as a couple of others. So they've got a lot of drugs in their pipeline, but I have no clue what phase these drugs are in. There are 3 phase trials, and I'll do this very quickly. Phase 1 is to make sure it's safe. No death, no chronic diarrhea or hiccups. This can take about a year or more. Phase 2 is, does your drug work for what you say it does? This can take 2, 3, 4, 5 years, somewhere in there. Last one is phase 3. Is your drug better than the other drugs on the market? We're going to pit your drug against their drug. The more drugs there are to pit yours against, the longer it can take. This can take up to 5 or 8 years. So you're looking at 5 to 10 years to get a drug on the market. And if it fails at the end, you know what happens. The price of the stock falls because you just invested millions and millions of dollars and years of work for a drug that failed. It's heartbreaking, folks. It's wrenching. So APM, we got any news that I can share with you here? Wasn't highlighted. I didn't know. Yeah, we do. We've got news starting with that definitive merger they did back in July. Aptorium Group and Diam R Biosciences enter into a definitive merger agreement. Diam R works with test kits, I believe it is, for diseases. I'm not sure if these are test kits that you take home or these are test kits that are being used by doctors and physicians at hospitals and stuff. I'm really not quite sure, but I know they have test kits that they work with. We just had a company that went out of business that was working with test kits. So I don't know how good of a business this could be. In August, the company regained compliance with NASDAQ's minimum bid price requirement. They were under $1. Now they're over $2.37 since August 4th. August 21st, the company announces that New York State approves the APOE genotyping test from their new partner that they just merged with. September 5th, they present at Wainwright 27th Annual Global Investment Conference. This is to get new investors. They're telling investors what it is they do, hopefully. Now, normally, after these, like this is September 5th, I normally look at the calendar and I see when the next Friday is after that date. And I think to myself, a lot of people got excited if these guys did their job right. They got people excited, and people will wait for payday. They'll wait for Friday to get their check to buy some stock. So either Friday or Monday after these dates is when I normally see a bump in the stock if they did their job right. And the last piece of news came out today. As part of the planned merger with Daimler, Aptorium Group will expand its board and management team with seasoned executives. That probably means they're going to be putting more money out, which means they might need more shares. When you bring on more executives, it's a good thing. Obviously, you're bringing on knowledge and wisdom, hopefully a lot of experience, but you're normally paying them more money. There's normally shares that are being given to them. So we look for these things to be happening, but it's a sign of growth, and that's always good. Taking a look at the disclosures, we got a 6K here. Oh, I said they were all about the merger. Yeah, that's right. All of these are about the merger. There are a bunch of them here if you're interested. There's a whole bunch of them here, including that S4. So, did I cover everything here for this company? No, we did not. We were covering the news. Right. So, looking at the relative volume for the company, it's way down. We're normally doing about 500,000 shares a day on the NASDAQ. That's not doing too good. Today, she did real bad. She dropped down to 174,000 shares on the NASDAQ. Share structure, super low float. Not that I know what it is, but the outstanding share count is only 3.8 million. Anything under 10 million is a low float. Well, you know the insiders are going to own something. Subtract that from the outstanding share count, that gives us our float. It's going to be super low. Super low is anything from 2 million down. I'm thinking it's super low. If it's super duper low, it's under 1 million. It's possible. It's possible. But I honestly wouldn't think it would be less than 1.5 million. I do believe that is the criteria for the minimum float. I've heard 500 million or yeah, I've heard a half a million, but I do believe it's 1.5 million. Market cap for the company, little over 9 million. Financials, are they making money? I don't know if this was their money or not. I always worry about that. When I see money disappear, the first thing I think of is this isn't their money. The company did a merger, they changed names, changed ticker, something. But if it is, ouch. They've lost all their money and got zero right now, falling from 1.5 million down to zero. Quarterlies, nothing shows up, nothing at all. But you normally have that with these foreign companies. This one's from the UK. Balance sheet, we got about just shy of $1 million in the bank. I think it's dollars, not pounds. Total assets, 16 million. Total liabilities, 5 million, which gives us what? What's going on there? Where are we at? So, see, this says that's bracketed. It means it's the opposite. It's not a minus, it's a positive. Their liabilities is positive $5,000, 5 million. So you add that on. You add that on to the assets, and that gives us 21 million. I'm liking that. I don't know how the hell you end up with liabilities being positive, but that's awesome. So we got $21 million of stockholder equity in this company that has no liabilities whatsoever. Woo-hoo, that sounds sweet. Was there anything else we needed here? I think I covered everything. I did. All right, we're going to go take a look at the chart. Starting to get bewildered here. Haven't had any THC, haven't had any caffeine. I quit smoking. I miss my nicotine, but I miss the habit of smoking. I miss that more than the nicotine. I need something to do. All right, let's go check out ticker APM. This is going to be the last one I can handle because my brain is starting to fry here. APM did not come up, but I did remember the letters, brought them with me. Let's go back a year. Holy cow, what's he doing there? I do a lot of charting, folks. I do a lot of strange charting. And I was obviously doing something here. I've discovered something. You know, when you have a high here, all right, when I am on a chart, folks, I look for a daily trend. A daily trend is going to go from one spot across the top of another spot, like right here, right? You can see I've hit a whole bunch. Boink, 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 3 of them. Well, I look for a daily trend in every chart. And if it stays above that daily trend, I'm confident. If it comes below the daily trend, I get scared. Well, I noticed that multiple trends will come off of that same point. It'll be on one trend and then fall under and then go to another trend. But it lines up. And that's what I was noticing here. But I don't need to confuse you. So I'm going to get rid of all these lines and we'll start picture clean just like that. And now we'll roll back to the year. And that's what it looks like. Something normal. So as you can see, I'm tempted to draw a line right there because I see these things popping up, these huge jumps. I love that. We've got a low, which happened first. We've got a 52-week low here, 46 cents back in November. And then in December, nope, January, nope, it's right on New Year's Eve. Yeah, New Year's Eve, we hit a 52-week high of $7.49. Very short-lived. She was hanging out here at $4.40 for 2 days. And then she came down, landed on this 50-day MA, and she's just been going sideways, slowly climbing, ever so slowly, but sitting on top of that 200 haul. You can see that. And now what's happening? We're getting a 200 squeeze right there. Right there. Oh, poop. That spot right there. She is doing a 200 squeeze. The price jumping off of the 200, getting on top of the 50 and blasting off through that 200, folks. That is dynamic. She got a lot of strength off of that, jumping from, let's call that 95 cents up to, geez, oh, Pete's, 95 cents up to 450. 450% jump off of that 200 squeeze. Look at the volume there, folks. Nothing before it, really nothing after it until this jump. And that jump's basically the same thing, going from $1.40 up to 440. So about 350% jump. But boy, aren't these terrific bounces? And it looks like she does one like every 30 days. We're overdue. We're overdue. Now, there wasn't any forewarning here, right? She was flat. Matter of fact, the bars were getting flatter and flatter before she jumped. Same thing here. Flatter and flatter before she jumped. Flatter and flatter. Is that the jump? Was that it? Really? Now she's starting to climb. She never climbed before. Well, she did here. So we're going to watch her. I'm not real excited about what's going on. There could be something going on, but it's all speculation. Guess. And I don't want to put my money into guesswork. Not really. So this one has got my attention because she does pop a lot, but I don't know if she's actually ready for my money yet. Our oscillators, everything is pushing up. Our PPO, our MACD is climbing. Our RSI is up there at 60, above 55. I'm not crazy about the ADX. The ADX has three lines. Your green line is your uptrend. Your red line is your downtrend. Your yellow line is the strength. All of them work on the same graph with 100% at the top, maximum strength, 0% at the bottom, minimum strength. Whichever line is on top is in charge and dominant. Right now, our red line is in charge. Now, that's strange, right? Look up here. We have got an uptrend going on. Price is on top of the 9, pushing up, climbing. All of our MAs are climbing. Yet, my ADX says that the downtrend is in charge and my uptrend is down below, very weak. And this yellow line says there's a lot of strength in the dominant trend. What I'm saying is this looks like it's coming down. The ADX is telling me something behind the scenes. It's weak. This is weak. Why would it be weak if that's strong? Because weakness is coming. That's what I'd be looking for. Everything else is telling me she's climbing. I've only got one oscillator that says it's weak. Maybe I put it off on the side and pay it no mind. Coming on down to the 4 hour, 6 month, I'll give you some chart. So we're down here at a low of 69 cents, pushing up slowly. Our 200 is climbing. There's that one big jump back down to the 200, still climbing. Another big jump back down to the 200, still climbing. Another little jump, but she's climbing. She's getting the climb on, and I do like that. That does look good. All of our oscillators are still looking strong. Our RSI is falling a little bit. You've got red bars on the board. You got to expect that. But everything else is either going sideways or staying hot. But where's our volume? We got no volume. This is what's missing. We had a little bit of volume here, and look how big she jumped with just a little volume. When volume comes in, she definitely jumps. That's the key point here, folks. When you see volume come in on this stock, she's moving now. Don't hesitate. Don't think about it. If you want to play a quick, fast scalp, looks like this would be the one to play. When volume comes in, you want to get in there. And you want to get in and sell on a green bar, right? She's falling fast. Now, let's see. I'm going to bring this down to the 20 day. Oh, poop. I can't see it. All right. I want to come down to my hourly here, but I want to see. Where's my hour? There. I want to zoom in on that right there. So when she starts to rip, folks, you can see this is pre-market. She's already running pre-market. Bell hit. She kept going. Look at that volume. The volume is the dead bloody giveaway. Let's look at this other one right there. Not a lot of volume, but boy, when it came in, she took off right here. When volume came in, she took off. Now, this is short, folks. This is the 1 hour bar. She went from $2 up to $2.50. I don't think 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to be able to get that on the minute chart. I won't even be able to get that on the 5-minute chart. I don't have anything set up. I got to set up special charts to go that far back with that small of a bar. But you can see when it comes down, which is what I'm trying to say here, she comes down fast. She shoots up very quick. Take your gains going up because when she starts coming down, she comes down so fast, it's over. You've missed it. It's done. We're back down here again. Morning pop, boom, sell. Don't wait for the top. Sell somewhere in here. Look, when she goes over 100, 200%, you should be selling something. At 100%, sell 50% of what you've got. You've got all your money back. And now you've got 50% of your shares left for free. Didn't cost you nothing. Now it goes up 100%. Sell 50%. Take half of that as profit. Let the rest run if you've got the balls to do it. The problem is when the stock starts going parabolic, we get scared. We know it's going to come back down. We know it. But still, we hang around looking for more. Why do we do that? Take the gains as she's climbing. And let me tell you something, folks. Go watch my video for dopamine. When you take wins, you're giving yourself a drop of dopamine. Like what you feel when you see a like button on Facebook or Twitter. That's why they put them there, because it gives you a dopamine fix and it makes you feel good. And they want you to feel good when you're on their site. Well, when you win, you feel good. So cheat. Take some little wins. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a $500 win and a $5 win. It doesn't. A win is a win is a win. So take a few $5 wins and get that dopamine fix, because that dopamine starts to get your brain addicted to winning. And what that means is it makes you do what you did before so that it can get its dopamine. In other words, it's going to make you win. It's going to give you the information you need. It's going to give you the impulses you need because it wants its dopamine. So take your gains. Don't keep asking for more. You're not only getting money with every win, you're getting dopamine with every win. And it's all helping you, all of it. Coming down to our 5-day, 5-minute view. I'm going to draw a line there because it looks like she's basically just going sideways over the last 5 days. And she's climbing a wee bit, probably going to come right back down and bounce, right? But she isn't falling. She's going sideways right now. Things are building up slowly. If you're interested, watch her. Put her on your watch list. Wait for the volume to come in and act fast. Bottom line with this stock, act fast. We're done. We are done, folks. My voice is gone. Did I have any more stocks? I'm looking. I did. I had Mark. I am sorry, Mark. NUAI. You know what? I'll let you guys see that just so you can see what I see. Boink. There. Mark had NUAI. August 25th, they changed their name and changed their ticker from NEHC. Used to be New Era Helium. If you've been looking for them and can't find them, that's their new ticker, NUAI. They're bridging the energy and digital divide. Lots of LOIs. This company is working to bring energy to the AI industry. We're working with AI in Texas. There's a lot of data centers down there. There's some other places, the Persian Basin, where we have natural gas. They're working down there. We need energy to make AI work. We have to have lots of energy, more energy than we've ever freaking had before. And that's what they're doing, is they're bringing energy to AI. And they're making deals with companies in those areas. And they got lots of deals going on right now, worthy of looking into. Strong daily volume, a low float, revenues just starting. Oh, that's exciting, folks. Revenues just starting is always a hot catalyst. They are in hot water with the NASDAQ. Their market value is low. They have until October 16th. They got a panel meeting. They're doing a lot of things. All these letters of these LOIs are actually, they're making deals which are changing things on the books. So they may have a chance of not being kicked off the OTC, because changing your market value is rather difficult. They're working on that right now. The other ticker is HCTI. This came from Lee. Thank you, Lee. Didn't have time, pal. Healthcare Triangle. Healthcare Triangle has all the AI and technologies that doctors and physicians need to expand and grow. And they're bringing all that technology and making it easy for doctors to use. They acquired AI for the next generation engagement, helping these doctors and hospitals Strong daily volume today. Another stock with a very low float. And the last stock we're not going to get to was GTVH. This was Golden Triangle. This came from Kashera. This is a holdings company. Again, a company that buys up other companies and builds them up so they can spin them out and make money on them and give us free shares. They, let's see here. I do believe they are buying a construction company. I do believe they are buying a construction company, and they've got a deal for a new house that they are building for $750,000. So they got a lot of things going on right now. Again, strong daily volume, but they've got a real high float. Not crazy about that. So even though we didn't get to them, I've at least given you the information so that you have an idea of what they had brought to the table and what I had found and would have shared with you had I the energy and the voice to continue going on with this. Imagine having a 24-hour show. Oh my God. It would be incredible. It would be different. We'd have bathroom breaks and everything then. Speaking of, thanks, folks. I appreciate your time. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for sharing information with each other. You guys are great. I know I'm kind of this and that, but you guys are great putting up with me. I will be back here next week. I keep freezing. I see that over there. I'll be back here next week, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Me, myself, and this beard. We're always here. Hope you're here too. Bye, folks. I'm not doing Home Alone. Every time I do it, it doesn't work.